Would you look at the time? It's time to talk about more mobile games that Nintendo happened to make. You know, this batch of games are actually pretty well made. I had no idea Nintendo was capable of making such great mobile games. Well, it's time to talk about the rest of them.
Well, if you watched my last video, I went over all the Mario games in the order they came out. I also did it in a half commentary, half review style, so I'll pretty much be doing the same thing, except with the rest of the Nintendo apps, starting with the earliest one, Miitomo. Well, this was the first Nintendo game on mobile devices. It came out in March 17, 2016 on iOS, and May 1st, 2016 for Android. Sadly, I never got to play the game. What's even sadder is the fact that the game is discontinued now. So how will I review it? I won't. I'll just say my impression regarding its trailer. There's no point in reviewing something I haven't played, right? So it looks like this game is kind of a sandbox type game. You have the creativity to make however you want your Mii to look. I think there's some chat feature, and I don't know if there are unlockables. But that's as far as I want to talk about this game. Not getting any more updates, I don't think you can get it right now. Moving on to the next game. Fire Emblem Heroes is the next non-Mario app to come. It came out on February 2nd, 2017. I'm surprised I was even interested in a game like this. I've been playing it for 2 years now. The game plays just like Fire Emblem. It's actually pretty watered down compared to the normal games. You move a party of 4 characters like a chessboard to try and defeat every enemy. There are 4 types of weapons that are weak to each other. Red is for the swords, green is the axe, and blue is the spears. Gray is the neutral color, and that's normally for bows. These colors aren't exclusively associated with those weapons, but what's important is to just keep those colors in mind. It's pretty simple the more you play it as you go through a bunch of levels. Alright, I finally finished Book 1. Man, those enemies were pretty powerful near the end. Book 2 must have some super powerful enemies. Why is it set out like this? There are updates that add more to the story, but whenever you start a new story, the level of the enemies just reverts back to the low levels. I'm the type of person who likes to do everything in order, so I just kind of felt a little off when I saw that. There obviously is a story in this game. It's a Fire Emblem game. What would it be without one? Well, I'm not completely sure how the story goes, but I think it's pretty much the main cast of characters. In this case, it's a dude named Alphonse and his gang, who pretty much go to different Fire Emblem timelines. I don't really pay attention too much in this game. Moving on. Just like a lot of mobile games nowadays, this game is a gacha game. Since all versions of the Fire Emblem timeline exists, that means you can have any main character from Fire Emblem in your party. I don't really think the RNG is bad in this game, and it does actually feel pretty nice rolling for characters. You aren't guaranteed to get a character from the banner since, well, multiple factors, but you probably get a 5-star not too long from when you start. What I really like about this rolling though is the fact of how cheap it is to roll. You need 5 orbs to roll, which means you just have to play 5 levels. There are normally special events here and there. The typical ones come up like Easter or Halloween. There are also a bunch of different game modes in this game, but I don't really want to spend too long talking about this game, so let's move on. The next game that came out was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. We somehow got 3 Animal Crossing handheld games. I don't really know how popular this game is, but it came out on October 25th, 2017, which makes this game somewhat old. I'd actually like to know someone who spends time in this game, cause I'm genuinely curious. The game is pretty slow paced. What else did you expect from an Animal Crossing game? A lot of aspects of the game are real world time based, so there will be a lot of waiting. You have to tap the location you want your character to move. You get some materials to make some furniture to put around the camp, as that is pretty much your job. It's as simple as any Animal Crossing game. I can't really say too much of this game, but I will give Nintendo props for making this game exist. This game does have events occasionally, and I'm pretty surprised it also does collaborations. The last one I can remember was a Hello Kitty collab. All I can really say about this game is it's pretty cute. I'm sure people enjoy this game, but this isn't really the type of game for me. For the final Nintendo mobile game, we have Dragalia Lost. I'm surprised that this game is an original. It was developed in collaboration with Games, who you may know for their work on Shadowverse, for the card games fans, Grand Blue Versus, for the anime fighting game fans, or on Princess Connect, for the mobile RPG or anime fans. This game came out on September 27, 2018, fairly recently. So far, this game has been pretty good. So let me show you what makes it good. Now this game is pretty interesting. It's more of a beat 'em up type game. You swipe and hold the direction you want to move, swipe once to roll, and tap the different types of attack buttons there are. You have the option to become a dragon, hence the Dragalia part of the name. The dragon also has its own moveset, so you should choose which dragon you want to play wisely. Every level pretty much plays the same. You're just getting from point A to point B and then fighting some boss at the end. But this isn't always the case, as there are some levels where you just either do a boss fight or you're trying to defeat every enemy. You would typically play this with a team of 4, as you control one character and the other 3 are AIs. Every character in this game specializes in specific weapons. You've got the close range characters who would use swords and spears, and there are long range characters that use bows, magic, and whatever. I feel like it's just better to play with far range characters, as it just feels like you're actually doing some work. Close range is pretty much good just for dealing with a group of enemies, but that's pretty much for the gameplay part of this game. Now I don't really know the story that well, simply because I don't pay attention to it, but I did read what Wikipedia had to say about it. Pretty much, there's this magic source that lets the royal family transform into dragons. But there's a problem with the magic source, as it's losing all its power. So this dude pretty much goes on a journey to fix it, and yeah. This game's free, so if you want to actually understand it, you can always just play it. This game's graphics are pretty good. What's even more surprising is it doesn't really take a toll on my phone, and probably a bunch of other phones out there. It runs really solidly. The game tries to go for this chibi aesthetic, and it works pretty well. You don't really need crazy detail to know what's going on the screen. I do like this approach. Good job. In terms of the other modes, you got this Clash of Clan type of mode, without the clashing of the clans. It really is just to get more materials and upgrade your overall stats. There's obviously the gacha stuff, and let me just say, it's alright. The one thing people absolutely like this game for is the collabs. Move over, Smash, you're not the only game with Mega Man, Marth, and Joker all in one game. It's actually so crazy how far this game has gone compared to the first time I played it. I'm pretty sure the first collab was with Mega Man, and the most recent one was with Persona. Fire Emblem got a repeat banner, probably just because it was easier to get a hold of, but I'm not sure if the other collabs will get repeats. I actually enjoyed these batch of Nintendo mobile games, minus the Animal Crossing and the Miitomo. Dragalia Lost was my overall favorite, and Fire Emblem is fun to come back to from time to time. In the end, if you enjoy these types of mobile games, then you should definitely consider trying these games out.
Well, there you have it. With the Pikmin AR game coming out in the future, I don't really know what to expect anymore. They've outdone themselves, and I actually feel proud for them. I actually like these games, and because I do, I won't delete them. Except the Animal Crossing one. Well, there goes all the Nintendo mobile games. Now when am I going to talk about the Pokemon games?